Howdy, this is Doug over at the Red Chip Poker Forums, and I wanted to answer a question by Red Chipper Chip Trader. He's sitting at a solid 5-10 table with a $2,000 stack. My first question is, why do you want to sit at a solid 5-10 table when there's probably plenty of soft 2-5 games that you could be playing in? I don't know. You gotta ask yourself why you're sitting in a tough game when there's probably easy games out there. Even if they're at a smaller stake, they're probably more profitable. Alright, so someone opens and Chip Trader 3-bets with Queen Jack offsuit. I am not in love with this. This does not look like a polarized 3-betting range. It looks like it is just a 3-betting range. And so what I mean by that is when we look here, if he's willing to 3-bet with Queen Jack offsuit, it certainly looks like he's willing to make it a 3-bet with all of these also. And so I would prefer much more of a polarized 3-betting range where you bet a small amount for value and quite a few bluffs like ace-4 suited, ace-5, ace-3 suited, etc. So this does not look polarized, but we're just going to go with this for now. So that's what he chose to 3-bet with. I would have just folded. Alright, now the flop comes out, and it is ace-10-3. And the question is, should we continuation bet on this board? And I suspect the answer is going to be yes. Let's take a look at this through the eyes of Miller's 1%, where we're going to take our 182 combos pre-flop, and we're going to continuation bet about 70% of the time, and 1/3 of that is going to be for value. So we need about 42 value hands on this flop. So let's get rid of all of those draws and set this up cumulative. And if we look at it right here, top pair, there's way too many top pairs there. So let's go through and get rid of all of those. We don't need those as top pair. Ace-10, we certainly will take ace-jack, ace-jack. Okay, let's accept that. And that gets us to about 39 value hands, which is about where we want to be. I'm pretty happy with that. We got some sets, some 2-pair, some top pair good kicker. So that's our value hands. Now, remember, we wanted to get this out to 127 hands that we're betting. And so if we start putting in all of these draws, we're still not at the 127 hands, but we're clearly including the gut shots. And so, to me, this would have been a bet as bluff here with the Queen Jack offsuit if we're going to be following Miller's 1%. And in a tough game, it seems like a reasonable path to go down. Alright, so that was skipped. But now, let's look over this. We get a turn card, kind of a blank, and the pot is 250. Notice I added these pot sizes in there to the original post. I think that once you start looking at the actual pot sizes and stack sizes, the problem with this hand becomes more clear. So we bet pot on the turn, and then we get slightly more than a min raise, so let's call it 600. That means that the villain has check raised 600 into 500, and it's a min check raise. I think this guy's got a hand. I really do. He probably was going for the check raise earlier and now really hit it. So I'm not loving this. If we were to call, there would be 1450 in there, and we could be getting, what, about 250 to put in there. So I don't even know that we can call with our gut shot, maybe. But then Hero ships it in. And so after our call is 1450, and he ships in 1275. A move like this relies on fold equity, and I am not convinced that we have any fold equity at all. when the pot is 1450 and we're putting in, just under a pot size bet, but the villain has min check raised us, I think we're really just falling into his trap. And the problem is we've got very little equity when called here. So I think we're getting called a lot, and I think we've got very little fold equity when called. Or we've got very little equity when called. And so I don't like how this hand played out, and I would have just folded pre-flop. All right, if you like this kind of thing, check into the Red Chip Poker forums and subscribe here on YouTube. Thanks.